So a right-wing reporter asked the Chicago mayor, "Why are you racist?" Here it is.
Real Chicagoans want to know, why are you a racist?
Well, first of all, I reject the idea and the premise that somehow that's an actual legitimate question.
For the first time in my journalistic career, I have actually heard an illegitimate question. All right, put up the picture for Mass. Yeah, so we have an update on Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson being investigated by the Department of Justice, by the way. The mayor was confronted by a far-right reporter at a press conference who posed the question why he was a racist. The mayor did not even flinch when the reporter attacked him. Here is what led up to the question.
Real Chicagoans woke up this morning relieved that the Department of Justice is finally investigating your race hustle. As someone who grew up on the south side of Chicago, I've heard a lot of race hustlers in my life, trust me. But they were usually marching around outside of City Hall, which is what makes this so embarrassing and dangerous. Very, very dangerous to the city of Chicago.
Okay, we need the question.
I'm more than happy to ask this question. It's long overdue. For over a year, real Chicagoans, white and black, have been telling me that your black power rhetoric is bringing the city backwards from a place that
we need the question.
Had overcome. You want the question?
Please.
Real Chicagoans want to know, why are you a racist?
Well, first of all, I reject the idea and the premise that somehow that's an actual legitimate question.
Man, you need to go back to whatever journalism training camp you came from, sir. That was horrible. Not well done, not well played. We have bigots that we provide opportunity for them to present their information, their evidence. We allow bigots platform to challenge the notion that they provide. Sir, you had all that lead up, and your question, why are you racist? Come on, man. Put him up. We'll mask. We're gonna have to deal with you, sir. All right? You are a surrogate for the most modern racist administration in the United States of America. You gotta get your bigotry up. You gotta get your bigotry up. Those kind of questions, sir. Simple, flatlined. Marjorie Taylor Greene could have come up with a better one. That's not a compliment. That was independent reporter William J. Kelly, who, funny enough, previously ran for mayor himself of Chicago. And he ran for governor. He lost, okay, both times. Accused Johnson of being a racist on Monday, the department. You got to give it up to the mayor for not saying, did you run for this same job? Huh? You got to give it up to the mayor for just being just a pro. All right, so on Monday, the Department of Justice announced that it had launched an investigation into the city of Chicago's hiring practices. The purpose of the investigation, the statement read, was to, quote, to determine whether it has engaged in a pattern or practice of racial discrimination in violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Now, I want to remind you, they're utilizing the Civil Rights Act to say that the Chicago mayor has discriminated against white people. Okay, so understand the premise of the argument. And also, this same Justice Department decided to drop charges against the New York mayor, even though they had secured evidence, they had secured the investigative dynamics to move forward with prosecution. They dropped it because he was willing to, to work with them on immigration, let's put it that way. It's very sad, isn't it? Now, the mayor's response, so here's a refresher, the mayor's response. Yeah, the original remarks. Let's go to the original remarks of Johnson. Here it is.
Some detractors that will push back on me and say, the only thing that the mayor talks about is the hiring of black people. No, what I'm saying is when you hire our people, we always look out for everybody else. We are the most generous people on the planet. I don't know too many cultures that have play cousins. That's how generous we are. We just make somebody a family member, right? This is how we are. And so business and economic neighborhood development, the deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief operations officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man.
Over 90% of the cities in the United States of America, their top 5 city employees are white people. Okay? There's no investigation into that at all. None. The mayor's response, quote, I reject the premise that somehow that your question has any legitimacy. Thank you for your time. He claims to be the mayor on the street, whatever the hell that means. So William J. Kelly, mayor on the street. And so we fixed a logo for him. William J. Kelly, failed mayor candidate on the street. And I'm going to add to the bottom, still asking dumbass questions. So we'll update that in post. All right, Reecie, thoughts here?
Well, first of all, the biggest race hustlers in this country are white Republicans. They just don't want to acknowledge the fact that white is a race. They think that whiteness is the default of who people are, but white is a race. White is an identity as well that has been weaponized to the detriment of even white people. We're seeing that what's unfolded in this big, ugly ass bill, okay? So the fact that people try to put the so-called identity politics and race politics on black people, when that is the only thing that has kept Republicans getting elected over and over and over again is racism, is absurd. But I appreciate that Mayor Johnson is not backing down on this. And it's disgusting to hear of a pattern and practice investigation against the hiring that mirrors the demographics of Chicago, because be clear, the percentages in the mayor's office and in the city employees mirrors the population, which had been underrepresented in prior administrations in terms of leadership roles. The same week that this administration has undone the work that pattern and practices investigations resulted in terms of consent decrees in Minneapolis and Memphis, or investigations in Memphis and consent decrees in Phoenix and in Louisville, they don't care about pattern and practices of discrimination. They don't care about harm that's happening. They only care about manufacturing crises and so-called reverse racism against white people so that they can keep their stranglehold on positions that these white folks did not earn them. The black people did.
Very well said. Very well said.